Alright guys, this is my review of the Hobie Lynx, and we're going to be talking about the pros, the cons. I'm going to run through everything on this boat. I've had it since November of 2021. It is now April of 2022, and I've been out on the Hobie Lynx now enough to know what to expect from it, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and all that. Enough to give you guys a full review. So let's start with the pros. First of all, it's obvious, that's why you get the Hobie Lynx, is because it is lightweight. Coming in around 45, 47 pounds, so it's super easy. You take the rudder off, take your Mirage Drive out, and you can take off your seat, and you pretty much just have like a surfboard almost, and it's like 45, 50 pounds, give or take. I mean, you've got A-trails and stuff like that. It's obviously a little bit heavier, but it's still way lighter than any other kayak. Which brings up the next question, is something that light typically isn't something super stable. With this boat, it actually is really stable. That's the next pro, is how stable it is. You do tip a little bit, but it's not like it's going to flip. The next thing is it's simple and easy to rig up how you want it. It is basically a blank slate. And they don't even give you the A-trails. So if you want the A-trails, that's something you got to add later. I'd be sure to add A-trails if you're going to go fishing though. But that does give you a really nice, easy, blank slate of a platform to do with it whatever you want. And I kind of like that. The next thing is it's fast, which something this stable usually isn't this fast because of how wide it is. But it's wide, it's got that surfboard style hull almost, or it's nice and flat, super light, so it actually gets up and goes. I do have turbo fins on mine, so that may be part of it. It's just harder to pedal, but you can go faster with it versus the shorter standard fins, which are easier to pedal, but you don't get the initial burst, and then you don't get the like really long top speed where you can take those long strides and just pace yourself really well. And another thing, it's also has great maneuverability. It's crazy that something is checking a lot of these boxes. It's lightweight, it's stable, it's fast, it's maneuverable, you know. It's just a different style boat than anything that I've ever been on or been used to. Next one is it's easy to handle off the water, which kind of goes with that lightweight. You can really strip this thing down, throw it up on a roof rack. It's no problem at all. You can throw it in the truck bed fully loaded, and it weighs less than like a pro angler bare bones. So you can literally leave your black pack, all your fish finders, your battery, your cooler, everything. And I mean, it still weighs probably 100 pounds or less with all that stuff on it. So it's lighter than something like a pro angler stripped down where you're throwing it in your bed. It's fairly easy to accessorize. They make a lot of accessories for it, I should say. You can't drill into this boat, so you have a couple of threaded holes in the front and one in the back. That's for your standing, like your H-bar, and that's for your H-rails. But you can use them for anything. Like if you don't want H-rails or whatever, you can just use a screw to screw down into that spot and mount any kind of accessory like a roto grip or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is, but you only have those holes that you can tap into. You can't do it anywhere. And it is power pole ready, so you can mount your power pole the same way. It's got the 4 screws in the back. And again, if you don't have a power pole, you can use those for something else. And like I said, it's easy to break down and to throw up on a roof rack. It's no problem. You can almost just kind of manhandle it up there with no strategy at all. That's just how light it is. All right, now let's hop into the cons here, because as much praise as I've given this boat so far, there are quite a few cons and some things that I'm not exactly happy with this boat. First off, it's expensive, and I think it's overpriced. I got it before the price hike, so I got it at the original price. I think it was like $26 or $27.99, something like that. Now it's $3,000, and you can almost bet as sure as the sun rises tomorrow that next year Hobie's going to charge even more for it, because the last like 5 years, ever since I've gotten the kayaks, I've noticed Hobies they get more expensive every year. I don't think there's been one year where they stayed the same price as the year before, even though they didn't do anything to them or upgrade them in any kind of way. they go up in price. Now you could argue also about the blank slate thing being that it's too simple and it requires too much additional accessories. And by the time you buy all these additional accessories, like your A trails, your marine mat, stuff like that, it does get really expensive, and you need to buy those accessories to get to that point. And at that point, you're spending, either at this point, Outback or Pro Angler money. But I think the benefit there is that you want something super light if you're going that route. If not, if you don't care about the weight, if you're on a trailer or whatever, then just get a Pro Angler or an Outback. It comes ready to fish way more than the Hobie Lynx does. Next con is the seat. The seat feels very cheap, especially for a $3,000 boat. It is something they definitely need to upgrade. It is not as comfortable as the Outback or the Pro Angler. And that's why you see a lot of people who own these are putting those kayak cushion seat things on the back and the bottom so that they actually have some cushion. They are super lightweight and breathable and all that stuff, but it just does not fit a $3,000 kayak and what you should get with a $3,000 kayak. Now the next thing is it's pretty fragile, okay? So you're gonna get scratches easy, you're gonna get dents easy, you're gonna get dings and cracks easy. From what I've seen, it's not a big deal if you get some of those because it can't fill with water because it's filled with foam. So you kind of just, put something on it, seal it up. Definitely would buy some protection for it. And again, there's an added cost to owning this boat. And I put some keel guards on it on both sides, and on the front I have a video about that if you want to check that out. And so far that's really protected it for me. But this is not something that you want to take in the river or something like that, where you're going to go down some rapids and stuff like that, where I've taken boats in the past where I just left the Mirage Drive at home or my motor out the old towns and just paddled them in the river and just dig a regular kayak float down the river. This is not the kayak for that. I would definitely not do that with this boat. Next con is bad placement for handles and the paddle holder. The handles and the paddle holder on this boat are pretty much useless. I use the A trails as a handle, and I use the double header, the Yakima double header with the 2 roto grips, and I mount that underneath the A trail onto the original track that comes built in there, and that holds my paddle off to the side because the paddle holder and the handles on this are garbage. So you're definitely going to have to invest in something either like A trails or roto grips or something like that to accessorize it a little bit more and have a place to put your paddle that is convenient and an easy way to kind of maneuver this boat off the water. My last and final complaint about this boat is that there is no dry storage. And that's obvious because there's no hatches or anything. It's a foam-filled boat that is, it's just no holes or anything in it. There's no running wires inside the hull. There's none of that. So there's no dry storage. So you're going to have to either use a cooler or something like that as part of a dry storage. I also have the Hobie seat bag that I've used on my kayaks in the past. I've got that on there. That's kind of like a dry storage thing for me. I'm really just trying to figure out a way to have easy access to my phone and stuff like that. Not necessarily keep it out where it can get wet or something like that. Because there are no gunnels on this boat either. So I've already lost my sun visor for my fish finder because I take it off and I shoved it under my seat and there was nothing to keep it on. I don't even know when it blew off or anything. I just got back to the boat ramp and it was gone. Stuff slides off this thing easy. There's nothing really to keep your stuff in the boat because it's such a flat platform. That's just something you need to know. There's no dry storage and there's nothing to keep accessories in the boat. If they can roll around, they're probably going to roll off. And another con is this thing is super loud on the water. So you're definitely going to want to invest in the marine mat if you're doing any kind of sight fishing or stealth fishing where you have to sneak up on fish, because it is not a hollow sound knock when you hit this kayak or drop a lure on it. It's a very loud, high-pitched knock. It's a solid knock, and it makes a lot of noise out there on the water. So in conclusion, I think it's a great kayak. It's a blank slate. I think it's a little overpriced for what you get. especially with the seat and just the accessories that you have to buy. I'm still on the fence about if I'm going to keep this boat or not. I really love the lightweight and the easy breakdown and throw it on the roof, take it to the beach, stuff like that. That off the water stuff is what makes this boat great for me. However, it's the fragileness, it's the no gunnels, it's the cheap seat. It's just a bunch of, all those cons that I mentioned are really things I'm not used to having to deal with a premium kayak. I mean, I don't think Hobie really considers this a premium kayak, but at $3,000, I consider that a premium kayak. But yeah, all in all, I think it's a great kayak. If you want something super lightweight, then I don't think there's many options out there. So I'm kind of on the fence if I'm gonna keep this or not, but you've heard my pros, you've heard my cons. You kind of got to make your own decision there on whether it's worth it for you or not, and what things you're looking for in a kayak versus what things aren't important, like what can you live with being a con. But those are my pros and my cons. This is my review of the Hobie Lynx. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one.